Aloha and good morning. You're listening to the Pixel Power Up. I'm Kevin, your host,
I'm Wesley Babcock.
And I'm Ikaika, Shiveley.
and we're here to talk about video games and stuff. So let's get to it. We're here for this is our second episode, you guys.
Yeah.
Level 2.
I didn't
Level
think we'd
two.
be around this long, but surprise, surprise, we're still here. So, we just kind of want to talk about some new releases. Man, I'm totally hearing every single now. Like, it's very vivid in my mind after editing last night. Hey, Ikaika, what'd you do this week? What's up, man?
I bought a couple games, but they haven't came in yet.
What games did you buy?
I pre-ordered Street Fighter 5,
Dude, I got Street Fighter.
which I'm excited for.
We're gonna brawl it out.
I also bought on Amazon Dragon Age Inquisition. I think that was like $20.
Yeah, that's an older game.
And also I got Evolve because it was $10. So I'm trying to find other people because I heard that game's only good if you play with your friends.
Group, yeah.
Yeah, that game's like big on communication. Hey, Kaika, should play Evolve. You get that for the PS4?
Evolve?
Yeah.
Yes. I think it comes in next week.
All right, we'll jump on that.
So probably by the time this comes out.
Yeah,
You'll have it.
Yeah.
you'll have it in your hands. I heard you've been watching some stuff. What's up, man?
So since I wasn't really playing much, and I've been on Twitch watching games, and then I just watched. I don't know if the beta just opened up again, but for Overwatch, I was watching that. And if I had a PC, I would get it for PC because it feels like most people are playing that on there. But it's also available for consoles, so I might get it. But it just looks like really fun, different. I mean, it's kind of based off of like other shooters, but it still
has
looks.
a lot of roots from Team
Yeah.
Fortress 2. Yeah,
That's what I heard when I was watching it. But I like how there's like so many different characters and like each one has like their own specific abilities or whatever.
you can check out my impressions article on the Kaleo. Yeah, no, definitely. That game is really good, and they've been adding a lot of really interesting progression stuff, which is what was missing from the original beta, and which is what I commented on. So they're adding a lot of good like appearance outfits.
Just a side note, it's Kaleo, not the Kaleo, because Kaleo stands for the voice. So you pretty much said the voice.
You say that every single time.
Well, I'm just trying to correct you
Jeez,
so you don't sound
Yeah.
awkward.
too late. All right. So what else you been doing, man? What's going on?
I also watched a whole playthrough of Firewatch. That
All
game,
of it.
yeah, the whole. Well, I missed like the first hour, but
Okay.
the person I was watching caught me up on what I missed. So it went from like a regular game to like suspenseful, almost like, is this gonna be a horror? But the ending it's pretty satisfying.
Sure.
It was really short though, so I recommend if you already seen the game that you pretty much know you don't really want to buy it because you know everything that happens and it's not really replayable game.
Yeah, that's definitely like a one-time through story-based game. To be fair, it's $20, so it's
Yeah.
kind of cheaper. It's not a
Yeah.
full price
It's kind
game.
of rated because I think people said it was about 4 hours playthrough. So I mean, $20, not too bad.
Yeah. That's about it though for the week.
That's about it. All right. I thought you PewDiePie. What happened?
Oh, that too.
Yeah.
I thought I was
come
talking
on.
about it later.
Oh, no, we're doing that now.
Okay, so I just got the free month trial for YouTube Red. So along with that, besides the YouTube originals, you get no ads, which is great. You can download the videos, so you can watch them on your mobile devices. You also get the Google Play Music service for free. I guess that's like Spotify or something.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, I haven't looked into that, but I mostly got it just so I can see PewDiePie's show, just because it looks pretty interesting. It's almost like a prank show, because the first episode was a prank. They sent him to get a health checkup, and they're like, "Oh, we start filming tomorrow," but they really had it was all actors and everything, and like stuff goes wrong, and he's like, they put a heart monitor on connected to his microphone, so it's like on his chest, but he just thinks it's like the tape to stick to him.
Yeah.
So like, and everyone knows PewDiePie is not the greatest actor, so he was really scared because there's no way he can act that being that scared, because he would come off awkward like he did on South Park. But it was pretty funny just to watch him like freak out and like try to like gain his composure. And then there's also episode 7 is on there for free if you don't have it, and that is basically they recreate Outlast So he's in like a
That's Outlast the game.
Outlast the game. So he has like a chest camera that's like on his face, and then there's cameras around, and then there's a bunch of just crazy people that are just roaming around the hallways of the hospital. And
It's like a haunted house.
And he has like in the game, there's a wheelchair that you sit on and it goes around, like you don't control it, and it's a remote controlled wheelchair. So he just sits there and it talks to him, because like he has like in the game he like names things after stuff, so it's called Mr. Chair, but like it actually talks back to him and stuff. So I guess there's someone on the other line, but like it gets pretty creepy. So even if you're not a fan of PewDiePie, it's something to check out just because it's kind of innovative, and YouTube is well, the other shows too, they look like they've been putting a lot of money into these original content, which is a good thing. So maybe down the line we'll have a lot more stuff, maybe like Netflix, maybe some more shows.
Yeah, that show just kind of seemed like a reality TV show, like a Pranked, or what were those shows on MTV? Were
Punked.
That's what I'm thinking of.
I think it more as a mix between Punked and what's that show on Sci-Fi? It's like the prank one, but it's to scare them. I can't remember what it's called.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know this.
I don't watch that much TV, so this is all.
But yeah, because he knows like that he's after the first episode, he knows what he's getting into, but he has no idea what the premise of each thing is.
Okay.
So that's
so
great.
It's kind of new to him. He's kind of going in fresh.
It's just like a video game, like you know, like that you're getting into something, but you don't know what the game's about unless you've seen it before, which he has no idea. And the executive producer is Robert Kirkman, who created Walking Dead.
Oh,
which is
wow, that's a big name.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Christ,
that's another reason why I really wanted to check it out.
That's that YouTube money right there.
There's definitely some cheese factor into it, but
is cheese involved?
There's some actors are really. There's one actress that's like really bad, but
sure,
I don't know, but overall it's good.
You like it? You're digging it?
I don't know I think maybe every week a new episode comes out. I'm not sure.
It had that other YouTube dude on it.
Oh yeah, Markiplier.
Markiplier. He seems popular with the kids.
Yeah, he is.
I don't know. I'm so divorced from like the whole YouTube Let's Play like community.
Yeah.
It's just so foreign to me.
It's like my life, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I only watch PewDiePie on that stuff. Everything else, video games, is on Twitch.
So Wesley, what have you been up to?
Not too much. Just been following a few YouTubers. One thing I did notice, piece of news that some people have been clamoring, is that YouTube has been, or I guess it's not YouTube, but various publishers, copyright holders have been flagging videos.
Okay.
So some channels have actually gone down, and then someone had a bunch of videos scheduled to go up, and they were all flagged, and they're all talking about how YouTube's
The Fine Bros.
Oh, well, the Fine Bros, Odosa Buckley, a really good Canadian ranter, and a few others had certain videos taken down, flagged, and they're just all commenting on how YouTube takes more of the copyright holder is the best. They're the ones money and all that, so they don't really give very good methods to have copyright strikes removed.
Yeah, that's been an ongoing problem with YouTube, right? Is copyright issues a lot of uploaders seem to run into.
Yeah, whether it's on accident or purposeful.
Yeah.
Because it's most of these things that are getting flagged should be under the fair use portion of the intellectual property law.
Okay.
So
it's weird that they're getting flagged down.
Yeah, and then YouTube doesn't have a good way to counteract that.
Sure. Which is weird because YouTube really got its start from like ripped Family Guy episodes and like South Park episodes. So it's kind of crazy that they're super nuts on copyright.
Now, yeah.
Oh yeah, now they're like this. They're very strict about that kind of stuff. I heard you were watching some StarCraft 2 or something.
Yeah, so I follow a few different YouTubers that play StarCraft.
Who in particular?
Beastheart.
Okay.
He's still smaller. I also follow Loco TV, I think a UK guy, and he does like guides and stuff. The other one is he's based out of Denmark, and he's more just playing it for fun. He's moved up different levels. He goes more for strategy, where when you're watching like the professional games, you see everyone's doing a lot of actions per minute and all those kind of things. And he's going, how do I counteract? So I like that grand strategy. It's like watching a game of chess, just in a different format. So
Sure. And do you play StarCraft 2 yourself?
I've tried to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the
it's
same boat.
tried.
It's really difficult.
We should play sometime.
We
just to be bad together.
Yeah, it's like watching two hobos fight in an alleyway because it's like I'm just so bad. Yeah, two mentally insane people trying to duke it out. It's a hard game.
No, I think the key thing keeping me from playing it is knowing all the hotkeys and how to do that.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm watching Loco, and he's, like, almost at master's level, which is near professional, and all you hear is the keyboard going as he's doing things and flashing between different areas of the map, and you're just like, geez.
If you're, like, clicking on stuff, you're playing that game wrong because you should just be hitting a hotkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only clicks you should be is your army, or, like, a worker, or something like that. So
I just have trouble, like, splitting my brain and thinking of the army and the base building.
The micro versus macro.
The micro and macro is just like completely foreign to me, which is why I think I prefer games like Dota 2 and League of Legends more.
But it's because it's yourself. It's not
just
an RTS.
one dude. Yeah.
It's not, I have an army and I can lose it and I have to counteract the enemy and
I also have to be like building stuff at my base and it's difficult.
Yeah, exactly.
I played ranked in StarCraft 2. I got to silver by rushing. That's the only thing I did. I rushed, and if that rush failed, I immediately conceded because I knew I couldn't win, and then I'd start a new game.
No, that's like they also call it cheesing, where there's certain strategies where you can
like Protoss Cannon Rush.
Yeah, Protoss Cannon Rush. Now they have Reaper proxies.
Sure, you can do like a 5 pool.
It used to be Marine proxies. There's like 5 pool or 14 pools and all ins and just all these different strategies. So.
All right, well, Ikaika's writing something, so I'm just going to move on to me. Every time Ikaika writes something, I just think that...
I'm actually doodling.
Oh, okay, great. So I guess he's just super bored.
Even better, yeah.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Ikaika.
I don't really play Blizzard games that often, and...
Overwatch is a Blizzard game.
Yeah, I know that.
Whoa, jeez. All right,
I haven't played it. No, but...
StarCraft actually with...
It's just not my type of game, so... Yeah.
I think
I'm not bored. I'm just I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
I think it's a really fun game to watch, even if you don't play it. Like I love watching pro StarCraft.
Esports wise, yeah, it's amazing.
It's a super fun spectator sport. All right, so I'm gonna start talking about the stuff I've been playing, which is one thing. It's XCOM 2, and that game's super radical. I really dig it. It's a lot of fun. That game, I like to think of it as like it creates war stories because. I sent in like a team of rookies into like kind of a suicide mission, and like one guy came back. And there's so XCOM 2, by the way, is a strategy game. It's kind of known for being really difficult, and it's a turn-based over-top strategy game where you kind of move soldiers in and out of cover, and then you're fighting alien forces. So on the way to missions, you ride in a helicopter, and you also ride in the helicopter on the way back, and sometimes your soldiers, like based on how the mission went, will look like sad or happy. And this one dude just looked so depressed, and he like got back to the base and he like fell on the ground. And I'm like, man, this game is just so good. And the mission names, each one is like a randomly generated mission name. And some of these are like really serious, like Operation Night Shadow or something. But the ones I've been getting is like Operation Night Stank. Which went directly to my Twitter page. So I've been having a lot of fun with that game. It's super difficult. Like I remember the first one being hard, but this game, man, it's a really stressful game to be playing. There are times when it's like from one turn to the next turn, things go from like pretty good to like, oh god, everyone's dead. I have to restart. So I've been save scumming a lot. Just like quick saving as much as possible and then reloading those saves. It's kind of unfortunate though because if you miss a shot, you're always going to miss that shot because it's like a randomly generated seed. So you have to do different actions and then fire a shot again, or else you'll continually miss that shot over and over.
Yeah, I was also watching that on Twitch too, and my laptop can't handle that game. That's why I just watch it. But the person I was watching playing, the way he did it was he had everyone who wanted to be a character to like hit join in the chat, and then like their language, what country they're from, and maybe like one physical feature, and then so he made all the rookies are based off of the people from the chat, and then
Oh wow.
it sucked though because like I went to bed like right before he like finished playing, and the next day I came on like a little bit later, and he's like, "Ikaika, you missed it. Your character just died." I was like, so I didn't even get to see it.
Yeah.
And apparently I died from friendly fire. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
mean, that's another great thing about that game is that you can customize characters to look however you want, and then you can name them. So I've named like characters after friends and like family, and then I just watch them die
And
to
you're like,
alien.
oh.
Yeah, like I maybe shouldn't like name them after friends and family. Like I
Name
name
them after enemies, so then you don't feel as much sadness.
Yeah, I'll name them after like the rookies after the people I hate, so that when they always die, I'll be like, all right, that's okay. That's not that bad. I just got this like power armor looking thing, and I put it on one of my characters, and then the character was a female originally, and I completely remodeled the character to look like RoboCop, or as much as I possibly could, and then I named it RoboCop. RoboCop has a pretty cool laser sword.
You know, honestly, the first time I saw those power suits, like, because in the opening mission you have like the 2 dead ones.
Yeah,
I was like, RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Like, I just
right?
saw it because there's just that narrow visor,
Yeah,
the tiny portion where the face is still present.
yeah.
So
No, it's RoboCop.
I really like the customization. That's like it's so insane. There's not just like the language. There's like of each like accent. There's like 4 different versions for each accent,
Yeah,
and then everything else you can add to it. Just like all the armor and like beards and hair and facial structure and race. It's insane.
yeah. I definitely like the accents because all of the people from Europe have like really great European accents. So like my team mostly consists of like people from Europe, just because I like
'cause
British
it's-
accents.
Well, British accents,
Yeah,
and Russian accents, and
Irish.
it's like
They all
all
sound
that.
so cool compared to like normal American accents.
Yeah.
My only character from Japan happens to be black, which is like really surprising to me. Like this guy who definitely does not look like he's from Japan, which I guess I shouldn't like racially stereotype people, but I think the amount of African Americans in Japan is pretty low, so he's like
Yeah.
a unicorn.
And they have some
Of
issues
racial ethnicities.
with
Oh, really?
yeah.
What would they be called? Like African,
No.
Japanese?
Yeah.
Japaneseians?
No,
I don't know.
I've actually seen like this because they face discrimination. Like,
Do
one,
they?
Yeah, because there was a black Japanese girl that was going for like Miss Japan or something like that, a regional contest,
Yeah.
and people were like, "How does a black girl represent Japanese?" Like,
Whoa. That's pretty
they're
rough.
treating her like an outsider.
Yeah.
But I feel that that there's heritage from like the World War that supports that. But it's like,
Probably.
really,
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
yeah. Not to get political, but yeah,
No,
I just had to mention that because I was like, that's interesting.
Man, we should really avoid politics in
Yeah.
our in our dumb video
The
game
political
podcast.
power up.
Yeah, the political power up.
See, spin-off series.
Yeah, spin-off series. We're gonna get Alex Bitter, our
Yeah.
Oh God.
what is he now? He's a web editor, I think.
He's a freelancer now.
He's a freelancer now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knows a lot about politics.
I think
And-
I think he'll be too busy with the coin power up.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna
We'll
have
have
his
to do
own
that
coin
series too,
podcast.
yeah.
So, by the way, Alex Bitter loves to collect strange coins. I want to have him on this podcast sooner or later because he played one video game once, and I think that's enough.
Was it Mario? Because there's coins in it.
No, yeah, definitely. No, it was like some politics game actually. It was like Political Simulator 2016,
Oh God.
2015.
Oh, there's a game like that.
Yeah, it's where you like pretend to be a president or something along the lines,
Yeah.
running for election. All right. So I think that's generally what we've been
Up
playing
to,
this
definitely.
week. I've spent most of my time with XCOM because I'm writing a review for it at the moment. So that should be up hopefully next week. And let's just move on. Let's roll on to new game releases coming out. The first one on the list is a big one. Street Fighter V coming out February 16. Ikaika, any thoughts, seeing as how you pre-ordered it? Have you played the other ones?
I grew up playing them on the Genesis, Street Fighter 2. I used to be a Ryu guy just because I thought he looked cool. But then I think it was when I had Street Fighter Alpha 3, or no, one of those that was like on the PlayStation 1. I switched over to Ken. And
Well,
I mean, yeah, but Ken's
is that
Ken's,
really a difference?
Yes, so there is a difference.
All right, guy. He has a fire uppercut.
Well, Ryu is more of the Hadouken, and
Ken
Ken-
can Hadouken.
Ken does that, but his ultra combo is not that, which is
No, his ultra combo is different.
his is a totally different way that you have to plan out how you're gonna actually land the shot. Wow, the Hadouken ultra, you have to like hit them in the air and try to get them as they're falling down, or just if it's like a noob, then just do it right in front of them.
How do you feel about Ken's new design in Street Fighter V? He looks like some, I think I have wrote this once. He looks like an Under Armour wearing weirdo, because that's very much what he looks like. He has an odd ponytail and skin tight clothing. I see you Googling this right now.
I'm trying to refresh my memory. I remember looking at it. Oh yeah.
They said that they really want to differentiate Ken from Ryu in this latest edition, because for a long time they have been very similar characters.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, they're almost like brothers. They're not really brothers, but
Yeah,
they
they
train
train
together.
together.
And yeah, this is kind of weird.
he looks kind of weird, doesn't he?
He also has like chick hair or something.
Yeah, he's like a ponytail.
I really
guy.
like the design. I mean, it looks like all the other ones, but the design for Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 4, me and my brothers, I mean, we always would play all the other ones, and I was always really bad. But when it got to Street Fighter 4, that's when I finally like figured out how to beat them.
Yeah,
And,
that's when you started kicking it up.
and then, I mean, we still, I like when I pre-ordered it, I like screenshotted it and sent it to my brothers, and they're all really excited. So, come graduation, we're all gonna be playing that.
Definitely. Yeah, no, I'm excited for that game. That game looks good. I'm probably going to pick it up. I might do a review. I don't know. We'll see. I definitely, yeah. I don't really have a character in Street Fighter games. I just tend to do whatever. I kind of roll around. I like Zangief for a while because he's kind of good against people online because I don't really know how to fight him most of the time. You just kind of run up and grab him.
Are you more of the charge players or
Oh, definitely not. I can't do charge.
Yeah, the charge. I can
I'm
never
so
do
bad
that.
at it.
It like Guile's like ultra combo in 4 was so hard. It was like a triangle or something. Like how do you
even?
just give up?
I really actually thought about buying a fight stick for Street Fighter V, but I couldn't find one that was like quality that was under like $150.
I can't play with fight sticks. I don't know why.
You can't? No?
I use the D-pad though on the PlayStation controllers. I don't use the analog stick because it's I don't know. It's maybe it's better like with the analog, but on the controller it's like it's too small, so you can't have your whole hand around. It's just your thumb.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're like limited as I don't know, and the D-pad is more precise for me.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for Street Fighter V though. That game looks pretty.
Wesley, do you not play Street Fighter?
No.
Totally out of this one.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's okay.
Or you don't own any consoles, so
Yeah, console gaming is not something I'd ever.
Is it
been
going to be on
part of.
PC?
Street Fighter. I think Street Fighter 4 was on PC. Street Fighter 5 might come later.
Yeah, it seems like most consoles, like the games come out first, unless they announce it initially. It always comes out console, and then they could be like a PC.
I don't know. Street Fighter 5 might be coming out on Steam at the same time.
Well, I'm sure you can find it at some arcade.
Yeah.
They still exist.
We don't really have arcades here anymore. We had one in Ala Moana
Dave
shopping
and Buster's,
center.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, Dave and Buster. I totally forgot about that.
I remember it was it's called Golfland. It's like a miniature golf place back home in San
Where's
Jose,
back
California.
home? Okay.
And they had the Street Fighter 4, but it was actually like an empty case and it had an Xbox 360
Wow.
in there, but they hooked it up. But the case still had the Street Fighter 4 logo on it, but it was like it looked legit. But then I realized like, hey, that's like an Xbox logo in the corner. Why is this here?
Yeah.
It was really weird.
That's super weird. That's
Cheapskates.
So maybe people just do that because it's more affordable than buying the entire like
Oh,
Probably
cabinet.
sure.
is.
Yeah, those cabinets are really expensive.
Yeah, I remember. Side note, back when I was really small, we used to have the original Donkey Kong cabinet at my house,
Oh, really?
and I was really small, so I had to like have like a stool to like play it, and then my mom sold it for like $50 or something.
What?
And my brothers have never let it down. Like, you sold that thing for $50. If you go on like Amazon right now, that thing's at least $1,500.
I bet, yeah.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, cabinet arcade games are really expensive.
They're up there definitely. Most at least cost like $200-$300.
Because now it's like a hobby item.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a collector's
Mhm.
item, collector's piece, even though they take up a ton of space.
Oh yeah.
You can only collect like maybe 4 of them and then have a complete room full,
Yeah, exactly.
unless you have like a dedicated basement or something, which would be radical. So, the problem with Street Fighter V coming out is that most other games kind of got out of the way of Street Fighter V. So the rest of the new releases we have are like dumb indie games and like weird Japanese shit.
Are you
Like,
saying they're dumb because they're indie, or just because they're?
whoa, hey
indie?
man, I support the indie video game development.
I'm just
scene.
clarifying it so our viewers don't get upset.
No, by dumb indie game, I mean like this game that's coming out called No Pineapple Left Behind, which is where you run through a school collecting pineapples. It was the only thing I could find on Steam. That's coming out on the 18th of February, by the way. And other games coming out are this weird Japanese mystery game. I think that's based off of a light novel called Danganronpa Trigger Happy Havoc. I have no idea what that's about. I think you're trying to find a murderer. The Steam screenshots were not helpful in the least. Yeah, no Pineapple Left Behind actually looks like a pretty fantastic game that I might pick up because it looks hilarious. I really don't know what the premise of that game is.
I don't know. I'm looking at this. It's like a classroom, and there's pineapples sitting in the chairs.
Yeah, it's like the kids got turned into pineapples, and you're trying to save them. I really don't know. Aside from that, there's pretty much nothing else coming out this week. Most of it's just indie stuff that you can find on Steam for the PC, but console releases, you are pretty much just left with Street Fighter V, which is definitely not a bad thing to be left with. That game's gonna be really good. The esports scene's already picking that game up. Like they've definitely transitioned from Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5. So it's exciting. See how they pick it up, see what new contests or tournaments go on. So we're going to move on to news because the new game releases was so light this week. But we have a ton of news. I asked my co-host to put some news stories up, and
Yeah, no,
Wesley Babcock came in with like 15 different fucking news stories.
Yep.
All right, so we're just going to get
coming in
started.
strong.
You're coming in strong this week. We're going to start with the top. Have you guys played Titanfall 2? Or
Nope.
Titanfall 1, excuse me.
No.
No? So Titanfall 1 was a mech first-person shooter, or it wasn't a mech first-person shooter, excuse me. It was a first-person shooter that gave you the option to get into mechs. That looked really cool, and it was actually a pretty fun game, though it didn't really pick up a whole lot of steam. Anyway, the second one is actually going to have a single-player campaign, which is really exciting, because the first one didn't have one. It had this weird, like, radio play in the background while you're doing, like, online matches. Like, there was just dialogue of characters conversing, so it wasn't, like, a real campaign.
Yeah,
It
and
was
who's gonna really pay attention to that while you're shooting other people?
no
Like,
one's gonna pay
like,
attention
really?
to that. Yeah, there are a few cutscenes though, to be fair. So it was like almost a campaign, but it's cool to know that Titanfall 2 is gonna feature an actual full-length single-player campaign, which I think is gonna be great because that series definitely has a lot of ways to have great set pieces. Because the main thing about the game is that you call giant fucking mechs out of the sky and then they land on the ground, and that's super dope looking. The next news story is that FIFA has picked up a pro esport player, like an actual FIFA football team. The actual real sport has picked up a esport FIFA game player, the video game, which is like a weird intermingling between real sports
Yeah.
and esports.
Is he doing like strategy, like as a coach, or is he?
I think they're
Or do
just
they have, like,
sponsoring.
Do they have like a robot?
They're sponsoring an esports team. They have a robot. Yeah, they have a robot player on the field.
Yeah,
He just has like a
okay.
PS4 controller and
Yeah,
Just
he
controlling it like
controls
that.
it from the side. That'd be way cooler if it was like robot soccer. That's the future, man. Robot sports.
That Honda, the Asimov.
What's that? You say Asmuff?
Asimov?
Asmuff?
No.
Asimov.
Asimov?
Is that what you're saying?
Like Isaac Asimov,
Who?
the writer.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
iRobot.
I don't know that.
Honda
Oh.
made a robot and
Okay.
named it that.
I don't know these references.
Whatever, we can
What's-
get this section out.
No.
This is random and lame. You don't know iRobot?
I don't know.
The
I don't-
Foundation
I don't know
trilogy?
who wrote iRobot. Yeah, I don't know who wrote iRobot.
Okay, that's fine. But
Sorry.
really good author.
Was it Will Smith? Did he write iRobot?
No.
Is it Jaden Smith?
Well, no, because that's an insult.
Whoa, man.
Like one of the greatest writers.
Are we cutting this out?
That's
That's
science
no,
fiction.
we're keeping this.
One of the great. Yeah, well, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like his Foundation trilogy kind of talks about like a galaxy spanning empire and then how it like falls, how it rises again.
Okay.
Just because this is before a lot of the technology we take for granted, and he was envisioning like starships, space stations, things that robots, like human-sized robots doing certain things, a cult of robots that did their task, but were like worshiping a god.
That's a pretty cool.
Yeah, like
that actually
they
sounds really
founded their
interesting.
own religion, So
I will definitely.
The team was their German team, the Wolfsburg.
Oh, Team Wolfsburg. Dude, that's a cool name for a football team. Wolfsburg. It's like a town full of wolves.
I don't know, maybe I should pick up FIFA again so I can get
Yeah,
signed
so
by
you
a
get
team.
Signed by a team, earn
although
like
I'm
team?
not that great.
multi-millions.
Yeah, so our next move, moving on from that weird story,
Yeah.
that we really didn't even talk about the story all that much, honestly. So the next news story is that the PlayStation VR lead is leaving Sony after 17 years, which is kind of terrifying for Sony, seeing as how they're just like popping out with Project Morpheus, which is their PlayStation VR.
They're like trying to get it
That's
going.
what it's called.
Project Morpheus.
That was its like code name in
Yeah.
development, Project Morpheus.
I hope they don't be like Nintendo and give it some stupid name.
What, like the Wii U, or like the Wii,
The Wii S
the Wii S,
or Wii.
The Wii is kind of I don't know. That's a
Wii was
family
okay,
friend.
but Wii U, I was like, what?
Yeah, Wii U is a weird name. Yeah, no, this is terrifying for Sony because they're really trying to pick up steam with the Project Morpheus, which is their VR headset, especially when it's like competing against things like Steam's,
Oculus Rift.
yeah, Oculus Rift, and then you have Steam's headset.
HTC Vive.
Yeah, the HTC Vive, and a few other ones out there. I know Google has like Google Cardboard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have that.
Yeah, you do? How is that?
I got it for the Star Wars thing because Verizon was giving it out for free,
Okay.
and it was. I mean, it's since it's on your phone, it's not perfect because it's for like any phone it fits to, but it's pretty crazy when you're inside the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And it's like 3D and you can look around.
Yeah, you can look around, you hear sounds, you look behind you, and then you like see it all.
Yeah, that was a big hit in the office in December right before the movie came out.
Yeah, so Sony's screwed. That's the general gist. Nah, they're going to be fine. I mean, people who don't have, huge, gymongous PCs that can run things like the Oculus Rift and the Vive, they're probably going to be the ones picking up the Morpheus.
Well, Sony has 35 million possible customers for VR.
Yeah. It helps that they're also like kind of leading the consoles a little bit. Not by much, but they're still
leading.
Yeah, the PS4 is definitely ahead of the Xbox One.
I'll probably buy one if there's good enough games.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big thing is if it has the support behind it, because there was also that PlayStation Move peripheral that they had that had no support, and then nobody picked it up. And
Yeah,
then...
I had that. But, hey,
You had that?
I still have it, but I haven't played it in a while. But
Yeah, what a surprise.
playing bocce ball was one of the greatest things ever. That and
Killzone was
Disc
supported
golf.
by it, I think.
yeah,
too.
I didn't have the gun peripheral though. I just had the thing.
That's right.
The Sports
Killzone
Champions
was
was kind of
supported.
cool. How you had like the shield and then the sword. It was
Yeah.
way more accurate than say like the Wii or something.
Sure, definitely.
But it did not have.
But the
enough
Wii
games.
was the one that sold bajillions.
Yes.
Man, Wii Sports. Remember that hubbub? Oh, that was insane. I actually bought a Wii because of Wii Sports and then never played my Wii because that console barely had any video games for it. So the next news story that I wanted to talk about is that Pokemon Super Bowl ad, because that thing kind of like it reinvigorated my childhood Pokemon dreams of like hoping Pokemon were real and then just being crushed when I remember that Pokemon aren't real.
You can do that.
You can do that. Hey.
Wait, so was it when
You
you
can
saw
do
it? Was it actually the first time you saw it was during the Super Bowl?
No, I
Okay.
don't watch sports.
Because I was gonna say
you're right.
it came out like a week before.
Oh, then we might have to cut this piece. But nah, it was so cool.
I saw it during the Super Bowl.
Oh
and
yeah,
I
I'm
thought it
sure
was
not.
cool,
I'm
yeah.
sure not everyone saw it. Or
Prior to it.
yeah,
Was that Mad Men? The dude from Mad Men with the sun? What's his name?
John Hamm.
Yeah, was that him sitting with
No.
the sun? Wasn't it?
I didn't even watch Mad Men, but I only know
Kinda
John
like
Hamm.
smoking a
No,
cigarette?
just some guy.
Doing business on the couch?
I liked it how it was just like about. It didn't really relate it to Pokemon really. Like there was
No.
Pokemon at the very end, but
yeah.
It like related. It was kind of like a Just Do It.
Yeah, it was like a motivational piece. Also, hey, Pokemon's been around for 20 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Pokemon is as old as I am. We are the same age, Pokemon and I. So
I'm
that's
older,
kind of crazy.
Luckily.
Me and Pokemon, we're twins. All right, so the next news story up here, I think Ikaika, you put this on here.
Yes. So apparently, there's going to be a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It's dated for 2018. Sony Pictures Entertainment, which is kind of weird how they're doing it. It's like, so like PlayStation is doing the Sega game, but Sega doesn't really.
Yeah,
I mean, Sega exists, but
they're not releasing
not
consoles
there.
or anything.
So it's gonna be a live action
Oh,
animated
God.
hybrid.
Oh, please stop.
Oh no,
That sounds awful.
I'm not happy
This could
about
be
this.
really good.
I really like the cartoon, the original one from like the 90s,
Sure.
because it still had the same animation and like design as the Sega Genesis Sonic. But once it like went to like the new consoles, and then they made him like slimmer and taller and
More anime.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
you
appreciate anime, but it was just really odd. And then like the inclusion of like humans in it and stuff, and then all the other weird characters. Like, just keep it the core people. You don't need more.
You don't want change, Ikaika.
If anything, Mario's proved, like characters and franchises like Mario and all that have proved you can just go with a core group of characters, maybe a few scattered new ones.
Yeah. You know,
and you survive.
put a Waluigi in there every once in a while.
It's like,
Yeah, like the only there was a Sonic movie. I think it was part of the show, but it was still its own movie where it was like him versus like the Metal Sonic, whatever his name was called.
Metal Sonic.
I think I don't know. They weren't very creative, but yeah, that was cool as a kid to watch that. And if they did something like that, but just all straight animation, but the hybrid.
The hybrid is what scares me because, like, is there going to be a real kid with Sonic? Like, what is that? Also, who do you think voices or plays Sonic?
It's going to be an unknown, probably.
You think? I'm thinking like Michael Cera as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah.
But it's like
Morgan Freeman.
most hybrid games or hybrid films, they are usually terrible. The only entertaining ones are really, I mean, Space Jam, but that's more of a cult entertaining and like nostalgia. But the only really good one was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and that was because it was animated. It wasn't CGI. But if they're gonna do the CGI route, which
it'll just look awkward. It's kind of like the Uncanny Valley with robots. It's with animation. It's like how close does it look to real life versus
like the way Roger Rabbit was good was because it looked like the cartoon still, but on the screen, and they still made a way to interact it. So if they did it like that, then I would maybe be on board, but not.
They're definitely not.
It's
gonna
not
do it like
likely.
that.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna look like a hedgehog, like, but just blue, like a real like
They should paint,
real life.
They
hedgehog.
should paint a real hedgehog blue and then just throw it for 90 minutes. I mean, I've heard good things about the new cartoon though, the Sonic Boom cartoon that's out right now. I've actually
no
heard.
idea.
I've heard solid things about that. The game is hot trash, but the cartoon apparently is like pretty good for kids. Hey man, Sonic is into chili dogs and he's like snarky. That's pretty much all you need to do. Yeah, so I'm hoping, Michael Cera is Sonic the Hedgehog, and then we can just move on from there. The next news story up is one added by...
Yeah, welcome to my long
Yeah,
segment
that's
of
right.
news.
This is where we start Wesley's own show.
Yeah,
Wesley's
seriously.
News Hour.
So, one of the first ones I wanted to cover is both Forbes and PC World covered AMD's release of an unofficial guide to processors that could be used for VR. This comes after Oculus basically only listed an Intel CPU, the 4590 3.3 gigahertz CPU, as the minimum for CPU specs. So all of the processors on this list from AMD are around 3.9 gigahertz, which some commenters and the authors were speculating that's about the equivalency to an Intel 3.3 gigahertz. So one of the writers also put out word to Oculus to see what they thought of this unofficial list, because even for people with Intel parts, someone had like a Sandy Bridge i7 2600K, and their compatibility check was like, oh, this won't work, but it's
Yeah.
obviously still capable. So
And I think a big problem people were running into was that the Oculus released a tool for people to see whether or not their computer was strong enough, but it only saw specific parts.
yeah,
And if you didn't have those specific parts, even though your computer was strong enough, it
it'd
would
be like, this isn't compatible.
Yeah,
and
it's
you're
not
like,
compatible.
it's not an exhaustive list. They didn't do their homework
They did
to
not.
release a tool. They should have just left it as their guidelines.
Yeah. So how do you feel about VR? Like, how is the PC part industry kind of moving towards VR?
I'm on the fence a little bit personally.
Yeah.
I'll have to just it's kind of one of those wait and sees. I think depending on what happens with Pascal and AMD's next generation of GPUs, we'll have to see if consumer level hardware becomes capable enough to drive with one GPU like 2 frames at like the resolution needed for people to like forget that they're looking at a screen
Definitely.
with VR. And latency is a large issue, which is why I think AMD's GPUs are a little bit better optimized for that.
Okay.
And on the front, and then one interesting thing, just talking about VR on the PC, is that it's the one time where SLI or Crossfire is really useful, because then each GPU runs a screen essentially.
Oh, okay. So like,
So alternate frame rendering.
there are
AFR,
2 GPUs there
Yeah.
in one card.
Yeah, so
And
that's
each
when it's
one is
very
running
useful.
a different lens on the Oculus.
So it takes the stress off of just one doing it.
Yeah.
Just like people are hoping that eventually there's a card that can do 4K by itself at 60 frames a second. So
Those are pretty beefy GPUs, though.
yeah.
The Oculus is
Dual
not
GPUs,
going to be cheap.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
Oculus, I mean, a later topic I'll just bring up now is that Oculus and its partners announced their bundles
They're PCs that are just ready. You can buy off the shelf.
ready for VR.
That are ready for
so
VR
they have
support.
like at least the minimum i5, but now it's Skylake, so they might include the 6600K or a little bit lesser than that.
And they're expensive. They're not cheap.
So if you subtract with buying these bundles, you get $100 off the Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
So the cheapest bundle is $1,500. So you basically get a PC that's worth around $1,000.
Yeah. I mean, which is a good deal, but it's kind of scary to think that like the general consumer is going to see that and just immediately dismiss the Oculus.
Because it requires at minimum the GPU is a GTX 970, which is what I have.
Yeah.
Which is like mid-range hardware, kind of up there. So
That's nuts.
yeah.
Definitely. It's a lot. I mean, Ikaika would, you're not one who has gone into PC gaming as much. Not so much.
No, I have a Steam account, but I only play games that my laptop will handle.
Sure.
Which is not that many.
So like looking out like from the outside of this as someone who's not really deep into PC gaming, would you spend this kind of money? Would you drop $1,500
Just to be able to play VR.
to play VR?
No.
No.
I don't. Well, I don't even have the funds for that. But
If you did,
if I did, if I could spare that, I would. But it just depends on how much I can actually afford.
Yeah.
But that's a lot. But if you're a hardcore gamer and if you really
The
are
latest
in
and
that,
greatest,
then
yeah.
And I think VR definitely has a lot of potential to be the next big stepping stone in video games, because a lot of huge companies are supporting it, and it's getting a lot. I mean, people love the Oculus. I've only heard good things from its quality and its actual design and what it's like to be in it. So I think it's really exciting, but it's also like a really scary moment. I wrote a whole article on Clio.org. You should read it sometime. It's about VR. All right, Wesley Babcock, you have like 4 more news stories in here. So let's,
Well, I'll focus since we're kind of going along this vein.
yeah,
of
let's keep going with the
PC
VR talk,
and all
PC
that.
talk, yeah.
VR. DirectX 12, like the Hail Mary kind of for, well, not Hail Mary, but like the next greatest thing for gamers with, as far as game APIs go. IO Interactive, the developers behind Hitman, and are actually working with AMD on their next Hitman, and depending when it releases, it could be the first game to feature DirectX 12 utilization to give better performance.
Which is pretty cool because the Hitman games have always kind of been, I mean, they've always been graphically centered. They're kind of slower games. They're not super actiony, so you can really take a lot of time to kind of look at your surroundings and stuff. So I think that's going to be a good beginning game for this new DirectX 12. All right, what else you got in store for us, PC Master Wesley Babcock? Got some other jazz.
Kind of following on. Oh, okay. So this is a topic that follows on last week's discussion. Ubisoft has just announced that there will not be an Assassin's Creed game released in 2016. They're going to step back and kind of reassess how the franchise is doing.
Yeah.
A wise thing, even though their most recent one received positive feedback. I think
Syndicate was well received.
Yeah, I think they're realizing they need to have games like Syndicate that are well received and not just keep pushing games. Like, they're destroying a little bit of the integrity of the franchise if they keep doing that. So,
like Call of Duty. That's why it
Call of
dropped
Duty.
out.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's exciting, really, because think about the game that comes out in 2017 when they've stepped back and like really looked at all of the data they've received, because a lot of their games actually have like player feedback, like rate this mission. Did you like it? Like, what problems did you have with this mission? So I hope to God they get away from those stalking missions where you just slowly follow a dude and listen to him talk. If that is excluded from the 2017 game, they've made a good choice in not releasing one in 2016.
Or like some kind of optional feature, like if you want to do more.
Definitely.
Or they'll just release 5 games within a couple months and they're all crap.
Yeah. You never know with Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So.
If there's one thing about Ubisoft is that you never know with Ubisoft. All right, and this story actually caught me that the Division's going to be having an open beta coming up.
So here soon.
Soon. I think the 16th is when you can start preloading it, and then the 19th to the 21st is when the open beta will be available to like everybody, right?
Yeah, it's open. I think you just have to sign up, pre-download, and get ready to play.
That's really exciting because I've heard good things from the Division, from the people who've played the closed beta. I've pretty much only heard that they are really excited for it, but also kind of scared, because that game has a lot of room for microtransactions, which is
definitely, because there's gear. It's kind of like the leveling system.
And it reminded me a lot of Destiny.
Your level, you get experience, you get more currency to spend. It's like, it could be a Destiny.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's a lot of room because Destiny has done good in straying away from microtransactions. They've kind of started, which is scary. Like they have boost your character to max level purchase, which is a bummer. And it's like $25 too. So that's not even a microtransaction.
Yeah, macro there.
Yeah, it's a
like
little.
Our last discussion.
Yeah, right. We're going to talk about this every week because it's such a thing in the gaming industry. So I hope to God that the Division does not get into that. But I think that's only going to show in time. It's probably not even going to be shown in this open beta. It's just going to be more like story. I think there's a story quest available, and it's pretty much just a stress test for servers. But that's going to be exciting. I'm definitely going to get into that actually, mostly because it's free and hey,
free 99.
Yeah, free 99. Here we come.
Yeah.
So this next story is that's it from you, Wesley
yeah,
Babcock?
That's
Those
my
are all
entire list.
Yeah, that's all of your stories. Ikaika, you put this story on this list.
I think it was last E3 or this past one. 2015.
I think so.
Where I can't remember who it was. Came out. Sean Layden, the CEO of Sony, came out with a Crash Bandicoot T-shirt, and everyone on the internet flipped out. It was like, what does this mean? Are you going to say something about it?
He didn't address it at all.
They haven't said anything about it. And then on the 6th of this month, PlayStation Middle East, they posted like a wanted picture with a Crash Bandicoot, but it's more of an updated version of him. Looks a little bit more cartoony.
He's got a new design. He looks kind of slimmer, and he's kind of taking on that Sonic route of being a little more anime.
But so I think it's in Arabic, but there's a translation which says "Most Wanted, where are you, Crash?"
Oh.
So I'm guessing that they are working on this, and they're just teasing this to drive people crazy. I don't know if it's gonna be only Sony. I'm guessing it might be a Sony exclusive just because Sony's the only one that's been teasing this. But a sad thing about this I saw is Activision now has the rights to Crash.
Yeah, I think that was a
And-
problem for a while, is that Sony didn't have the right to Crash, or it's like there was a lot of problems with the Crash Bandicoot rights that actually stopped them from creating a new game.
Yeah, I've become less and less of a fan of Activision every year. If it would be awesome if Naughty Dog can have like, because they're getting so big now, if they open like another maybe developer, like instead of working on the next Last of Us or Uncharted or whatever they decide a new project, if they had a smaller developing team to do like a Crash Bandicoot game on the side, I think that'd be great. 'Cause that's
Sure.
where Naughty Dog started from.
Or they could make a Crash Bandicoot in the fashion of The Last of Us and make it like this really heavy-hitting emotional story where Crash Bandicoot
Like
has,
the opposite of how it like started.
Yeah.
Crash and Coco.
Crash has to kill Coco in the end because she's infected with a virus. The Last of Us was such a good game.
Wasn't no spoilers for people who haven't played it.
Well, that game came out in
I know, but still,
like 2013.
that's like my favorite. That's like one of my favorite games of
If
all
you
time.
haven't played The Last of Us,
Well, some people they don't have PS4s or
well,
PS3s.
then they're never gonna play The Last of Us.
But maybe they'll eventually when the PS5 comes out.
Personally, I've just watched playthroughs. Of
They've
it.
watched playthrough. That game broke my heart a million times.
Wasn't there? Was it Crash Bandicoot that had like him and Spyro? They like switched worlds and they had the games. It was something like that. I think it was.
I don't remember that at all. I've never been into Crash Bandicoot or Spyro. I just wasn't part of that.
It was either Crash Bandicoot that switched with Spyro, or it was like Jack and Daxter.
I don't know.
Which if they make another one of those, I hope E3 they bring like Jack and Daxter back. That would be amazing.
Yeah,
it's
that'd
been
be
gone
cool.
for so long.
It's been gone for a pretty long time.
Like 3 came out in probably like 2007 or something, and I'm sure they had other smaller games. Oh, they had the Jack and Daxter racing game, but
they did a HD remaster of the Jack and Daxter series.
yeah, I saw that was for PS3, right?
Yeah, it was for PS3. So that's exciting. Maybe
I
they'll
don't
pick
really
that up
play
again.
PS3 anymore just because my PS3 has gone through 2 Yellow Light of Deaths, and I'm afraid to play that game or play that system anymore.
Sure.
Um,
Also, you have a PS4 now,
yeah.
so who cares, really?
I mean, there's still games I would want to play, but pretty much the biggest game I have is that I want to play is Rock Band, but all my peripherals are back home.
Bummer. I saw a full Rock Band set just in Goodwill for like $15, and I almost bought it. But then I just remembered that I can't have more plastic instruments in my apartment because I have so many already. And like real instruments, so there's no more room for me.
Let me guess, what was next to it? There's probably the Tony Hawk skateboard
yeah.
peripheral,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then
Skate.
there was probably all the Guitar Hero failures, which
Whoa, man. Guitar Hero 2 was a good game.
no, I'm saying after Guitar Hero 3,
Yeah.
it was all just crap, and I still see all those peripherals and like marked off, $90, $80. Like
Yeah.
no one wants this game. Why
No
do you
one's
think?
gonna buy that.
Yeah.
Stop making Guitar Hero games.
There's a reason it's marked off. It's because no one's buying it.
I have 2 friends with the game.
Oh yeah.
The newest one, I think.
Oof. Oh,
Is it 5?
that new Guitar Hero game was
yeah,
actually pretty
the
good.
newest one,
Yeah.
I think, kind of went back to the roots.
Yeah.
And was a little bit better.
It had a really cool like live action sort of gameplay where you're actually that's
You're
like
in
a real
front of
crowd.
crowd,
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know. I'm still on that Rock Band.
You saw
Rock
on
Band.
that Rock Band train.
I went to Rock Band, Team Rock Band after Guitar Hero 3.
Sure. I mean, I think they're both good games. I honestly, I haven't played an instrumental game.
I think
in a pretty
mostly
long
just
time.
because I trust Harmonix and I don't trust Activision at all.
Wow, just straight throwing shade on Activision.
Yep.
Well,
Throwing that shade.
throwing that shade. Hey, they always
Oh,
have
gee.
time to,
Yeah, they could improve.
And then-
No,
it's
they
like-
definitely can, but
and then screw you over. They can
Yeah.
improve to screw you over.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the real
just
goal.
to build up that little bit of trust.
And then stab you in the mouth because that's what Activision does. All right, I think that's all our news stories. We finally got through that. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Most
Wow.
of them from Wesley Babcock.
Yeah, well, you're like, add a few articles. I'm like, this looks pretty sparse. Let
Yeah.
me just spruce this up a little.
Yeah, spruce it up a little. You like made it rain. To be fair, I only had like 3 news articles on there beforehand, so you
Yeah.
really came and saved the day.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our questions category that we're gonna do again because we don't have any email questions. I think it's Wesley Babcock's turn to ask a question. Unless you don't have one, then I can do one.
I'll go till next week.
All
yeah.
right.
I think I have mine, but
We'll save it till next week
Yeah.
then. So my video game question is: who was your first? I'm seeing the face Ikaika is making.
I'm
Looks
trying
like
to-
you're about to throw up.
No, I'm trying to guess what you're gonna say.
Who was your first video game crush?
Yep,
I knew you were gonna say.
Yep.
Really?
Yeah, once you said who was your first, that implies like
Wow.
crush or something like that.
I didn't think. All right.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys are.
I know your
You guys
personality
are
well.
mind readers.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
think that was super obvious. But let's hear them. I
But-
mean, who like?
You gotta say yours first, so we
Yeah,
can think
yeah.
of ours.
I have to say. Oh, that's right. You have to say
Yeah.
mine first. Mine was definitely Kairi from the Kingdom Hearts series. If you remember her, it was okay because she was like 12 in those games, but I was also 12, so it wasn't illegal. I don't know, man. She was voiced by the girl who plays in Heroes, the cheerleader. What's her name? Something Hayden Petrie or something. And yeah, that was definitely my first video game crush. Like, I wanted to save her in that game so bad. I like felt Sora's emotional pain when she gets kidnapped. And that game taught me about love. You know, that game taught me about real emotional connection. Ikaika, I see you Googling some Final Fantasy VII. What's up, man? Who's your first video game crush?
I'm trying to remember.
We're on to you
I'm
already. You're trying to remember. You never forget your first love.
Well,
Your first pixelated love. Wesley, do you have an answer for us?
Well, I mean, my introduction to like gaming was mostly online games, so there weren't many characters.
Do you have an online girlfriend?
But no, I don't.
I did on Maple Story.
Oh wow.
I had like 14 online girlfriends.
So I mean, I guess the closest
you
thing.
dog.
Yeah, I was quite the player. Sorry,
I
go
always
ahead.
thought Kerrigan was really cool from StarCraft.
Definitely. Were you like more into her after she became a Zerg person? A Zerg lady?
Well, I mean, I like her as a human, like right before she gets swallowed by the horde.
Sure.
But after, I mean, she has a lot of strong qualities about her.
Yeah, she
Or,
was definitely
yeah.
like a really empowered female character.
Yeah.
And like kind of a time when there weren't a lot of those.
She like dominates like a whole sector of a galaxy. It's like,
Yeah.
you know.
I hear the ending to StarCraft 2, like the final ending is like kind of crazy. Like Kerrigan, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah, no,
This
you
is
don't,
still
you don't
in-
have to, even not spoiling it. It's they put a unique twist on finalizing this trilogy.
Yeah.
Because it's truly like one game, but a trilogy through the different parts.
I mean, they've been doing that trilogy for like, God, the past 8 years, something like that. When was StarCraft 2, the original, released? It was a long time ago. It was when I was still in high school, so it was maybe like 6-7 years ago now. Yeah, and they've been working on that trilogy for a long time, finally ending it.
Oh, 2010.
2010.
I remember, yeah.
6
Wings
years
of
ago.
Liberty came out in 2010.
Yeah, so yeah, they finally ended that trilogy last year with the Protoss
Yeah,
expansion.
2 years, an expansion, basically.
So yeah, that was definitely really cool to see that ending and how like crazy anime it got. It got really weird.
Yeah, it was pretty weird.
I
but-
would recommend just watching that
Yeah.
ending because it gets weird. It goes places. All right,
I couldn't.
Ikaika, it's your turn.
I'm coming to a blank. I don't know.
Don't-
I'll just go.
you-
I'll just go with Riku from.
All right, that's a
Final
solid
Fantasy
choice. Yeah,
But I'm pretty sure there's someone. I was thinking like maybe there's someone from Street Fighter, but
like Cammy.
while I was looking at that, I was like, no, that's not who it was.
Nah, son.
So maybe it could be someone from Mortal Kombat 2, but
Was it
I don't know. So I'm just gonna go with Riku just because I remember.
was it Scorpion from Mortal
No.
Kombat 2? Oh, your flaming skull! It's so hot.
No, but Riku. I mean, what you gotta say about Riku?
She has
It's
short
Riku.
shorts. She's a cute lady.
Wasn't she like kind of like had like that, like not hyper but like bubbly?
Yeah, definitely.
But it wasn't annoying. It was like
No, it was cool, man.
yeah.
She was in that Final Fantasy X2 where like they were all idols.
Oh god.
Do you remember that game?
Yeah,
I
I
did
remember I
not
bought
like
that
that game.
game because I'm not that big on Final Fantasy games. Like I watch my brother play him all the time, and that's how I know all the stuff. But I don't actually play the games. But then I bought X2.
Sorry,
Yeah, it was like $10 at like GameStop or something.
that's a really bad one.
This was back in the day where, so in 8th grade, pretty much every day after school, me and my friends, we would hang out at GameStop for about 2 hours a day.
Wow.
And
The
we,
GameStop employees must have really liked you.
no, they actually did. Like when we would come in, they'd be like, "Oh, we just got Guitar Hero 2. Do you guys want to play?" I was like, "Yeah." So he would put it in the demo
What?
thing, and we would play the games.
That's awesome.
And they would
wow,
always
yeah.
like, you know how they have the giveaways, like if you buy like like the special edition of a game, and then there's like a shirt or like a statue or something.
Yeah.
So if they had extra ones of those, they would give those to us.
Wow.
And then and then we also could like call all the cardboard things. So some of my friends had like giant like video game cardboard cutouts in their room and stuff. But yeah, so during that time, and then I would always try to buy like cheap games. I would look every day because every day someone would be trying to get something in, and that was probably like $10 or something, which is one sign that the game sucks.
Yeah, that's $10.
And it was terrible. But yeah, Riku, because I was thinking Yuna, but she was kind of annoying from what I remember. She was cool because she can like summon, but
she was the main love interest in Final Fantasy X. Titus and Yuna have like a makeout session in a lake, and they're like flying through the lake.
Oh yeah,
while
I remember
they're
this.
like kissing. It's super weird.
I remember back then,
and like kind of uncomfortable.
that like cinematic was like amazing. Like
it was so great. The Final Fantasy
I mean, still
X
now it looked good,
cinematics
but
were fantastic for their day and age, like on the PlayStation 2. And Square Enix was really the company that like did awesome game CG.
that and like all the God of War series, those were like God of War 2, I think pushed the PS2 like to its boundaries.
Yeah, PS2 was a great console. I think that PS2 is still my favorite console.
But yeah, I guess Riku.
All right.
Until maybe next week I'll think of something better.
Yeah, you can come back on that. It would be really weird if you just think about video game ladies for a whole week.
Yeah.
So
it's like, who do I really like?
Who do I really like?
Who
All
says I
the
don't?
ladies.
All right. Well, hey, how are we doing on time, Ikaika?
We're probably about an hour in.
We're probably about an hour in.
If you have anything else, we can go another question.
We can do another question if Wesley Babcock, you have one.
Because I went pretty quick.
That one did go pretty quick. Wesley Babcock, top of your head. Here we go. I like calling you by your full name.
Yeah,
I don't
can
know.
tell.
It just kind of rolls off the
Works
tongue.
for me.
Hey,
Works for
man.
me. I think mine was gonna be if you could play a game that you hadn't played in a long time. What game would that be?
That's a good question.
Is that as in
So, like, say there's a game, like either a childhood game, something that you've just been sitting dusty on the shelf or in your Steam library. So it's kind of like a
Sitting
favorite. What's
dusty
your
in my
favorite?
Steam library.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a lot of games.
yeah, but something that you really enjoyed that you'd want to play again.
All right. Well, you got to answer first, amigo.
Well, I mean, nothing's too dusty in mine, but
It's okay. I can edit out all of this
yeah.
empty
Let
sound.
me just go look.
Or
I have some.
You have something?
Um,
Ikaika? Go ahead.
I'll give you a couple. So I was gonna think first of like an old school game, but I just downloaded emulators, so I can play that.
You can
like
play
I was
those at
I was
any
actually
time.
planning on playing Pokemon Snap this weekend.
That's a good one.
Yeah, which is weird because like I'm using my PS3 controller for it, but it still works.
Yeah, I feel like that'd actually be even better.
So I kind of said Rock Band just because I don't have the peripherals, but I feel like it's too much of an obvious choice for me just because that's like one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
So I want to play Donkey Konga. Or Donkey Kongo.
Donkey Konga
Was it Konga?
I think it was. That's the one with the
bongos?
The bongo
Yes.
peripheral. That game was fucking radical. That game was so sick.
Where you
man.
like clap, but then like looking back, like you probably look like an idiot playing that game.
Sure, but it was super fun.
I also had a game. It was for PS2. It was called Taiko Drum Master. It was kind of like the same thing. So like you either hit the center drum or you hit the side, but like they're like look like wooden sticks, but they're plastic.
Yeah, like a taiko drum, like in Japan. Yeah.
But yeah, those peripheral games like that weren't like complete hits. They were so fun. Like just you have so many memories.
Yeah.
Either of
definitely.
you or just like commercials of it. And, like
Yeah.
oh, that looks kind of cool. That's my answer.
Wesley Babcock.
Yeah, I kind of thought of one of mine. Something that I did play a little bit. I bought a bundle off of Humble Bundle, and it's Battlefront 2.
The original.
The
Yeah.
original kind of like now on the PC you can at least bump it up to 1080p, but just playing through the campaign, doing kind of like those skirmishes, it's really fun. And I mean I had no experience with consoles early on except like some of the early Call of Duties,
Sure.
like Africa maps, but that's like the graphics, pretty decent for its time. Just this idea of space battles, infantry combat,
Wait,
Kinda miss it.
Battlefield 2?
Battlefield 2.
Space battles.
Oh,
You're a crazy.
Battlefront 2.
Battlefront 2.
Okay, let me restart that.
Nope.
That's what I thought you were saying, but and then
Okay,
I realized you're saying
if we're talking
Battlefield.
about Battlefield 2, I like Battlefield 2 Bad Company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was it Battlefield 2 or wasn't it just Battlefield Bad Company? I'm pretty sure.
I don't know.
Well, Yeah,
Wasn't that one of the first ones where it was like everything's destructible?
Bad Company had a destructible
Yeah.
environment and stuff. Yeah, that game was really solid. I actually just really enjoyed Battlefield 2, the game. That has some really iconic maps on there that I played a lot as a kid because my dad had it, so I could just play it for free, essentially.
My first experience with Battlefield was, I think, Battlefield 2 on the PC. That was actually the first PC game I ever played. And that's when I realized that I suck at PC and I cannot use a mouse to shoot people. I need controllers and analog sticks.
Oh, wow, like scarred you away.
And I mean, I've gone back, but like when I downloaded Gmod and then you had to buy, what is it, Counter-Strike Go or something, or Source.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I tried doing that, and I mean, people have been playing those for years and years, so there's no way I'm gonna be good. But like, I could never kill anyone. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, the Counter-Strike community is savage. Like, if you come in, they're gonna
tear you apart.
They're gonna
the
tear you
Russian,
apart.
You'll hear Russian, like,
Yeah.
and you'll be like,
You'll be
It
called a
sounds like
psycho
yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah, I tried like 3-4 matches, and then I had to turn it off and then just cry.
Yeah, cry for a little bit.
It was very
Yeah.
saddening.
You got wrecked, son. I don't really. It's really weird. I have very short-term memories, so I don't really like have. I can't even remember.
favorite like old game.
Old game. Yeah, it's such a. I mean, I was thinking real hard about playing Super Mario Sunshine again for the GameCube
Yeah.
because that game was awesome. People didn't like that game, or I don't know. There was really mixed reviews on that game, but I dug Super Mario Sunshine. I didn't really care for the water jetpack and stuff, but I thought it was just a really like solid 3D Mario platformer. Also, that game has a really weird story where it's like baby Bowser and Bowser like talking, and there's like actual voice acting, and it's super weird. But yeah, I really like that game. I just thought the platforming was a lot of fun. The camera kind of got awful at times, but what are you gonna do about that? It was an older game.
Yeah, I played some of that, but I never got really into Mario games as like where I would play all of them. I mean, Mario 64, I never beat that game, but that game was really fun. I feel like Sunshine, I don't know if it just wasn't for me or just not as good as 64. And then the last Mario game I can remember I played, that was a Mario game and not Mario in it, was it Galaxy?
Galaxy.
It was the first one, and that one was fun. I never beat that one too because I think I borrowed it from my friend, and my brother had a Wii, so I was playing it on there. But
Yeah, Galaxy was a good game. I enjoyed Galaxy.
yeah, that was I really liked how innovative that was. But,
Yeah, just with like the planetary gravitational stuff.
But Mario Sunshine, I don't know, it's kind of weird.
Mario Sunshine was kind of weird. And I think that's why I like it so much. Is like it's such a weird departure from the Mario franchise. Also, I don't know, I thought the environments were really cool. All right, so I think we've hit about an hour. We can probably end this podcast. It's probably a good time. I'm going to throw out an email address and hope I get it right. If you want to send in questions to us, you can email us at pixelpodcast@gmail.com. We're not the Pixel Power Up Podcast. We're the Pixel Power Up Podcast, right? Ikaika? I'm
Yes.
not getting this wrong.
No, but you're getting my name wrong once again. It's Ikaika, not Ikaika.
Oh. I'm pretty sure I called you Ikaika.
I know. I was trying to see if you would remember, but
Ikaika.
you didn't.
I'm so sorry. We run this podcast
Cheers.
together, and
Yeah.
I don't even know how to pronounce your name correctly.
It's okay. Most people don't.
What are you going to do? My name's Kevon,
Especially
but no one pronounces
them
that
Howleys.
correctly. The what?
Them Howleys, they don't know how to.
Oh, them Howleys.
Them
What are you
Howleys.
trying to say? You're in a room with two Howleys.
Yeah.
Scrap them.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh is right. We're going to end this podcast. Thank you for listening to the second episode of Pixel Power Up. We are